Sustainable Food for Thought. Tashel Z, T. Ting, and Jacqueline A. Stagner. Narrated by Right Here Audio. Abstract. There is not a single solution for sustainable food for the future. Multiple sources, with differing views on the effect of diets on our health, the global population, society, and the future of the environment, are able to compromise on an imperfect solution. Unsurprisingly, the better, more environmental friendly, less energy and water intensive foods are generally plant-based. Because strict plant-based diets cut out all animal products, the happy medium is the Mediterranean diet. The Mediterranean diet is mainly plant-based, with some fish, eggs, and even less meat and dairy recommended. This bodes well for different cultures, health, and the people universally, and projects well for the planet's future. The authors hope that this chapter will provide factual insight from multiple sources for readers to make informed decisions on what to consume on a daily basis. 1. Introduction. In recent years, the fear of our planet's future has caused much ruckus. Many modern-day systems and products are unsustainable. Much time and effort are being placed into finding sustainable alternatives. One area of focus is on humans' diet and how to reduce the environmental and health impacts associated with the food that we eat. However, this challenge can seem daunting to many people. But no, a zero-waste chef once noted, we don't need a handful of people doing zero waste perfectly. We need millions of people doing it imperfectly. This is a good model for how we should be eating. Eat plant-based not restrictively, but to the best of your ability. Something that many are doing multiple times a day that affects our planet and our future is eating. Many fads and diets recycle themselves in the media in the West, while in the East, there is the struggle for an adequate nutrition. Corbett et al. Coined this issue as the double burden of disease. There is a problem of quantity of food reaching everyone worldwide and a problem of quality of food everyone deserves. This is becoming a global issue as well as an environmental issue. It is predicted by Godfrey et al. That the world population will plateau in 2050 at approximately 9 billion people, and that 66% of the world's population will be living in cities. While the number of people who are hungry has decreased, the problem of micronutrient malnourishment remains an issue. With the steady increase of urbanization, animal products are being favored. It is also observed that there is an adoption of the Western diet in countries such as China, Mexico, and Brazil. The Western diet is rich in meat and cheese as opposed to the Eastern diet, which staples include rice and soup. Animal products not only contribute to unnecessary greenhouse gases, but also contribute to increasing rates of obesity and some diseases. The mass production of agriculture has faults as well. Kesavan and Swaminathan concluded that the latest bacteria and herbicide-tolerant crops not only present genotoxic effects, they are also unsustainable. The solution is not fixing all of our crops to perfection, but having enough good, fresh produce for everyone. Castaigne and Anton indicate that our diets and food sources are responsible for about 1/3 of our impact on climate change and land use. An increase in overall food consumption and, more directly, an increase in meat consumption affect the environment and the world's health. The Mediterranean diet and vegan diet are highlighted as having a low environmental impact, as they both are plant-based. Approximately 1/3 of the world's cereal is fed to animals. A reduction in animal product consumption rather than a termination of animal product consumption is promoted for a number of reasons. For the portion of livestock that feeds on grass, not grain, it would be worse for the environment if that grassland was converted to arable land. Pigs and poultry consume human food waste. Livestock plows land, and their manure is valuable. It is suggested that specific foods are not eliminated from our diets, but rather that we shift our mindset on what is good food. Plant-based foods require much less land in comparison to animal-based products. This occurs because the transformation of energy from plants to animal products is extremely low. The energy gained from animal-based products is extremely low, especially compared to how much land it takes to produce animal-based products. Water statistics are shared. It takes 15,415 liters to produce 1 kilogram of beef, 5,988 liters per kilogram of pork, 5,060 liters per kilogram of cheese, 3,265 liters per kilogram of eggs, 1,827 liters per kilogram of wheat, 822 liters per kilogram of apples, 287 liters per kilogram of potatoes, and 214 liters per kilogram of tomatoes. Plant-based foods offer cleaner energy to our bodies and our planet. Governments should be creating policies and putting tax dollars towards the food their citizens consume. It is extremely difficult to tell people what to eat and what not to eat. Eating is so much more than the food on our plates or something to keep us going throughout the day. Food is a part of culture and tradition, bringing families together and creating experiences. People should be given the facts and decide what to do with them. The issue of sustainability of our food is looked at as a large-scale, multifaceted idea that needs to be tackled from many perspectives, from the beginning, food production, to the end, selling food. 2. The link between nutrition and health. In recent years, we have improved in our moral duty of making sure the entire world is fed. However, a staggering number remains malnourished. This does not necessarily mean hungry. Malnourished may mean that some individuals simply do not have enough food, and some, despite having enough food, are without the proper nutrients. Focusing on the quantity as well as the quality of food, new sustainable technologies are being implemented. The main macromolecules include fats, carbohydrates, and protein. Western society has often put much focus on protein, not only that it is a vital component of our diets, but also that it may be the most important macromolecule to live a healthy life. However, Dallas et al. Discuss how too much protein is difficult for our digestive system to process. Interestingly enough, the Western society that places much focus on protein has the highest rate of weight loss surgeries, which in turn leads to less hydrogen chloride and decreases the amount of pepsin available to denature and digest protein. Too much protein makes it harder for our digestive systems to do their jobs. The body's preferred energy source is carbohydrates. Lopez Jaramillo et al. Claim that health comes from diversity in a diet. A variety of foods should be consumed. The majority of one's diet should be fibrous carbohydrates, about 50%, fats, about 25%, and both plant and animal proteins, about 20%. It was found that fruit, vegetable, and legume-rich diet reduce mortality. Friedman observes the trend in America. The obese population continues to grow. An effort to stop the epidemic is seen with a trend of more high-protein, low-carbohydrate diets being implemented. While the results do show that a high-protein diet could be used for weight loss, there are many possible dangerous side effects to this diet as well. The diet is often called the Atkins diet because it was popularized by Dr. Atkins. Individuals who are considering this diet are warned to be cautious if one is susceptible to kidney disease. Although Dr. Atkins disagrees, there has been correlation seen between high-protein diets and kidney damage, in turn possibly leading to heart disease as well. There has been no concrete evidence for high-protein diets leading to weight loss. An American study that has shown participants lost weight by following a high-protein diet is not conclusive, as there are too many outside factors that were not controlled. An Australian high-protein diet study shows no difference between the standard diet and Atkins diet. Note: article does not define what a standard diet would be. There is also no concrete evidence that a high-protein diet causes kidney issues, but it also can accelerate kidney complications in individuals who have chronic kidney disease. Antonio et al. Performed a study with high-protein diets in unison with high-resistance training. The results show no benefits or drawbacks. The study used young males who regularly resistance train. The control cohort continued training with their regular diets, while the study cohort increased the amount of protein consumption in their diets. The average amount of protein consumed was 2.6 plus minus 0.8 and 3.3 plus minus 0.8 grams per kilograms per day for the control and study groups, respectively. The results anticipated negative health results, such as an imbalance of lipids and damage to the kidneys. However, the results showed no increase in health issues and no change in body composition between the control and study groups. Pinheiro and Wilson compared the three macromolecules. 1 gram of fat gives 9 kilocalories, while 1 gram of protein and carbohydrate both give 4 kilocalories. There is no concrete evidence showing a correlation between the amount of fat consumption and weight lost or gained. However, all fats are not created equal. The two fats that have opposite effects on the body are saturated fatty acids and unsaturated fatty acids. A reduced consumption of saturated fatty acids, mostly found in animal products, can reduce the risks of chronic heart disease. Replacing saturated fatty acids with unsaturated fatty acids also have been shown to reduce the risk of chronic heart disease. Unsaturated fatty acids typically come from plant foods. Giannini's et al.'s analysis shows both health and nutrition benefits from a Mediterranean diet. Studies have shown a reduced risk for illness, particularly cancers of organs involved in the digestive system, i.e., stomach, colorectal, pancreatic, liver, etc., when individuals consume a Mediterranean diet. In a study of men and women of different ethnic backgrounds, Park et al. Found that there is little variation in risk of colorectal cancer. The study found that implementing a Mediterranean diet lowered the risk of colorectal cancer in people of many different ethnicities. As well, a Mediterranean diet achieves most nutritional requirements, and an overall healthier body weight is seen. Perez Jimenez et al. State olive oil is a key part of the Mediterranean diet and a major source of monounsaturated fatty acids, MUFAs. When ingested, olive oil has been shown to improve the lipid profile, i.e., patterns of lipids in blood, and to have anti-inflammatory effects on the body. Drunowski shows high-fat diets have been shown to increase obesity as well as coronary heart disease. A diet rich in grains, fruits, and vegetables has been suggested as the most healthful. However, it has been seen worldwide that people of all cultures and backgrounds enjoy high-fat foods. Fats greatly stimulate the human senses. The smell, taste, and texture of fats are very appealing. A taste for sugar and fat has been seen in very young children. Studies have shown that, although everyone, overweight and slim, tends to prefer sweet foods, the overweight population chooses sweet foods that are high in fat. The overweight population has also shown more tendencies to binge eat, and these binges mainly consist of sweet, fatty foods. Finkelstein et al. Note that trends are seen within families and pass through generations. Overweight children tend to have overweight parents. Although studies have shown obese men enjoy eating saturated fats, obese women enjoy eating unsaturated fats. For example, obese men tend to eat more red meats, and obese women tend to eat more dairy. Richer countries and people are able to afford a high-fat diet, decreasing the amount of complex carbohydrates and fiber consumed. A trend of developing countries eating a higher fat diet, i.e., a larger amount of meat, dairy, and eggs, is seen in correlation with increasing obesity trends worldwide. Much evidence supports the inappropriate nutrition is directly linked to disease development. Therefore, it is crucial to have an understanding of what foods are needed to sustain a healthy nutritional state of the population. Varshney and Budoff state heart disease is one of the leading causes of death in developed countries. Houston adds in America, cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer. A healthy lifestyle is shown to dramatically decrease the risks of cardiovascular diseases. Varshney and Budoff studied different types of cardiac issues in conjunction with the consumption of garlic. A summary of the findings is shown in Table 1. This study suggests that cardiovascular benefits of garlic, a component of the Mediterranean diet. Table 1. Cardiac issues and garlic consumption, based on the results of cardiac issue, effect of garlic. Hypertension, reduced blood pressure. Hypercholesterolemia, varied results. Inferred that cholesterol can be lowered by garlic consumption with the use of statins. Coronary artery calcium and epicardial antipose tissue. Increased brown to white epicardial antipose tissue ratio, which is an indicator for a lower risk of ischemic heart disease. Biomarkers of inflammation. Decreased inflammation. The Mediterranean diet, a diet rich in omega-3 fatty acids, fats from fish, nuts, and especially olive oil, decreased cardiovascular mortality. Monounsaturated fatty acids, MUFAs, and polyunsaturated fatty acids, PUFAs, decreased the risk of coronary heart disease, while saturated fatty acids and trans fatty acids were correlated with an increased risk of coronary heart disease. Coconut oil consumption had little effect on heart disease risk. Dairy has been shown to decrease coronary heart disease. Sugar and refined carbohydrates increased risk of coronary heart disease. Fermented foods, fruits, and vegetables decreased risk of coronary heart disease. Coronary artery calcification, coronary heart disease, and a cardiovascular disease are all dramatically decreased on a vegetarian diet. Morris finds saturated fats have been shown to lead to dementia, while the Mediterranean diet has been shown to protect the brain from degenerative neurological diseases. The key ingredients for good neurological health are as follows. Focus on plant-based foods and reduce animal high-saturated fat foods. It has been found that green leafy vegetables and berries have the greatest effects against cognitive decline. Stevens et al. Find that there is not much information on the effects of diet on the human epigenome. It is thought that there must be an effect of diet on the human epigenome, as human disease can come from either genetics or the environment. A lack of proper macro and micronutrients correlates to negative behavior. Through studying paternal and maternal diets, it was shown that a poor diet is correlated to health problems to the offspring. These health problems may occur by means of interrupting healthy methylation of DNA. DNA methylation is directly related to neurodevelopment. Thus, mutations in DNA methylation, possibly caused by diet, can cause neurological disorders such as autism as well as behavioral disorders such as depression. 3. Models for a healthful and sustainable diet. SEED uses the Mediterranean diet as a standard for a healthy and sustainable diet. Qatar has tried to enforce a dietary guideline, and SEED has outlined it and reviewed the results. The title of the diet is Eat Healthy While Protecting the Environment. An emphasis is placed on plant-based foods, as they are more sustainable and lower greenhouse gas emissions and water use. Plant-based foods are also good for you, reducing the risk of non-communicable disease and chronic disease. Reducing food waste is also part of the plan, as more than 30% of food is wasted in high-income and middle-income countries. Kober et al. Uses the term wholesome nutrition to describe a diet that is sustainable and nutritious. The majority of the diet is plant-based, focusing on fruits and vegetables, whole grains, legumes, and dairy. It is noted that meat, fish, and eggs are to be consumed only if wanted. The 4 components that create wholesome nutrition are health, environment, economics, and society. Health was newly added in the 1980s, as it is important globally. Sustainable nutrition looks at all parts of food from start to finish: input production, agricultural production, food processing, distribution, preparation of meals, and disposal. Problems range from energy prices to livestock breeding. Nutrition is one of the top 3 contributors to greenhouse gas emissions. In Germany, 85% of agriculture emissions are from animal products, while the remaining 15% is from plant-based food. Interestingly enough, animal products contribute to 1/3 of humans' energy when consumed, while the other 2/3 of energy are supplied by plant-based foods. Kober et al. Notes that leaning toward a plant-based diet will effectively decrease greenhouse gases. Denerney et al. Echo the effect of a low-impact, plant-based diet. The Mediterranean diet is mostly plant-based, less water is used, and less greenhouse gases are emitted. The Mediterranean diet encourages diversity in agriculture as well. Plant foods will decrease the cost for food production, in turn helping poorer countries. A predominantly plant-based diet increases consumption of complex carbohydrates and decreases consumption of fat and cholesterol. Fiber can be obtained only from plants and is essential for a healthy diet. As well, it increases satiety. Thus, in malnourished populations, increasing fiber and complex carbohydrates can have health benefits while also satisfying appetites. The Mediterranean diet, high in fiber and low in saturated fats, is also recommended for populations facing obesity struggles. It is important to note that while it is not the most sustainable or the most healthful, the Mediterranean diet is recommended due to its diversity. Food is more than just its production and nutritional facts. Denerney et al. Found that the Mediterranean diet makes a happy compromise, as it is culturally appropriate globally, can be modified from region to region, and its base is mostly plants. The plant-based foods give it sustainability, and the animal-based foods, dairy, fish, eggs, and white meat in small servings, add culture. Mediterranean cultures emphasize food as important in day-to-day living. It is a means of communication and socializing. This is also seen in different traditions and religions. It is important to keep in mind that no matter what type of food is produced, globally more than 30% of food is wasted. In poorer areas, food waste is due to a lack of healthy storage for food, such as refrigeration. Thus, food is spoiled. In richer areas, use-by dates on food products encourage consumers to throw away good food. Clean water should never be taken for granted, especially as we march into the future. Ultimately, all foods link back to the water that nurtured them. It is not surprising that Mabadi et al. Note in places where water is scarce, nutrition and health challenges increase. Collaborative efforts targeted at tackling water, food, nutrition, and health challenges should go hand in hand. Food produced organically decreases the amount of greenhouse gases being produced. Organic farming has been shown to build more humus that is able to absorb CO2 from the atmosphere. Corbera also advocates for regional and seasonal farming. Regional farming is to cut down on the amount of transportation needed for transporting food. Seasonal farming is to reduce greenhouse gases because out-of-season production of produce requires extra heating and plastic. Out-of-season produce requires more packaging to maintain its freshness. Processed foods need more energy than unprocessed foods. As well, the process of processing foods uses more water. In the agriculture industry, technology is being used to grow and maintain crops. Our use of pesticides, fungicides, and herbicides is doing more damage than good. Combining Mendelian genetics with biotechnology can breed hybrid crops. This can be a method of bettering agriculture as it increases biodiversity. Kesavan and Swaminathan show that more research needs to be done, as there are disadvantages to biotechnology as well. Thus, this is not a final solution to sustainable food. Jones notes that the stability of ecosystems, that is making ecosystems sustainable long-term, comes from biodiversity. To preserve our agricultural resources, there must be a variety of crops. Diversity aids in adaptation to environmental changes in the future. 4. Education. One program which is trying to tackle the issue of proper nutrition is e-nutrition. The goal of e-nutrition, as stated by Geisler et al., is to educate the public about their health from a nutrition standpoint using online sources. They echo the fact that many chronic diseases are related to nutrition. They have plans to make their program international, but for now, they are educating Africa. E-nutrition highlights that this goal of education is only made possible through a group effort. The E-Nutrition Academy's goal is to have nutrition training in Africa to improve the health and well-being of the public. Effectively educating the next generation is essential for worldwide solutions. Newson et al. State that part of their education deals with changing the population's behavior for better health and nutrition, especially among underprivileged groups. Pelletier et al. Define a group of barriers at the population level. They link this group to urgent health, social, and environmental problems, and there is an urgent need for effective and sustainable solutions at the population level. Mabadi et al. Claim not much is being done with the research available, due to a lack of systematic research connecting not only nutrition to health, but also to water and agriculture. There is a lot of room for improvement. Policies must also consider the quality of water used for agriculture to have success in benefiting the malnourished rural households. Producers should have more sustainable foods available. Economic tax incentives and honest pricing can encourage consumers' wants. In addition, clear labeling, e.g., letting the consumers know which food choices would be more sustainable compared to others, can help consumers make better informed decisions about the food that they purchase. Ultimately, ensuring healthful, sustainable food for the world's population is a multifaceted problem that will require multifaceted solutions. 5. Conclusion. As the world's population increases and urbanization continues, sustainable food is going to be a challenge. This chapter has reviewed the environmental and health impacts of various diets. The main conclusions are summarized in Table 2 as follows. Supply and demand of animal products are increasing. However, animal product consumption is closely linked to diseases and obesity. Plant-based food has the lowest environmental impact and, in turn, the lowest production cost. The Mediterranean diet proposes a happy medium, mainly plant-based with choice animal products to respect different cultures. Table 2. Diet type and key attributes. Diet attributes. Plant-based. Lowest environmental impact. Lowest production cost. Healthiest. Mediterranean. Mid-environmental impact. Mainly plant-based. Fatty acids from fish found to be neurologically beneficial. Animal products. Highest environmental impact. Correlated to cardiovascular diet. Culturally favored.